Welcome to Faith Action Network's annual celebration. My name is Kristen Ang. I'm the new Policy Engagement Director for FAN, and I'm pleased to serve as your MC this evening. Closed captions are available for this evening's program, and we're dropping the link and instructions in the chat right now. If you need tech help during this program, you can ask a question here in the YouTube chat or send an email with your name and phone number to fan@fanwa.org. That's FAN@fanwa.org. Though we've gathered virtually, we want to begin by acknowledging that we gather on the occupied lands of Indigenous peoples across our state. 29 recognized tribes and others still seeking recognition who have stewarded this land throughout the generations. We are broadcasting live from the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, past and present, and honor with gratitude the land and river and the Duwamish tribe in their continual struggle for recognition. With many of you, we seek to counter the impact of the doctrine of discovery and boarding schools with truth about colonization and work towards justice and healing. Feel free to let us know in the chat whose ancestral land you reside on. If you're not sure, you can use the tool that we just dropped in the chat to find out. We are mindful tonight that many of you are also doing the work of reckoning with systemic racism, and we join you in that commitment. Across the state, we've heard this fall about those of you who are taking extraordinary measures to welcome Afghan refugees. For all of you, we are grateful. Now, to help us honor our connectedness and move with purpose into our program, we have an opening blessing from Rabbi Ruth Zlotnick of Temple Beth Am.
Hi, I'm Rabbi Ruth Zlotnick from Temple Beth Am in northern Seattle, and I am so grateful to be a board member at Faith Action Network. And when I was asked to say these words of invocation, I thought about the fact that in Judaism, our very first words upon awakening in the morning are words of thanksgiving, of gratitude. There's another prayer called the Hoda'ah prayer, which we say 3 times a day. And this word Hoda'ah is actually very interesting because it's connected to Todah, which means to give thanks or to have gratitude. But it's also connected to a word, hitvadut, which means to admit the truth, to acknowledge the very most basic truths in our lives. So then gratitude becomes our primary stance for prayer, where we acknowledge the truth that our lives are dependent on our Creator and that our lives are interdependent with one another. So it is with great honor that I share these words of gratitude as we begin this very special dinner of moving forward with gratitude. In the words of my ancestors, Modim anachnu lach sur hachayim. We give thanks to you, rock of our lives. We give thanks for guiding the journey of Faith Action Network over the last decade from an audacious dream to a statewide force for good. Compassionate One, bless the almost 200 faith communities who powerfully join together to be a moral voice of conscience across Washington State. Modim anachnu lach magen yeshenu. We give thanks to you, shield of our deliverance. We give thanks for bringing together each and every individual of these varied communities in partnership with each and every individual of FAN's outstanding and dedicated staff. Together, we seek to ensure that our shared values of fairness and equity are translated into laws that serve and empower all Washingtonians. In particular, Holy One, may this be an evening of blessing and celebration of Paul Benz, whose leadership and passion has been inexhaustible as he seeks to bring justice to the halls of Olympia and across the state. May Paul grow from joy to joy and from strength to strength. And finally, Modim anachnu lach, makor habrachot. We give thanks to you, source of all blessings. We give thanks to you for guiding Faith Action Network through the past 10 years, clarifying our vision, inspiring us to grow, enabling us to move forward with gratitude and renewed vigor to advocate for a more just, peaceful, and sustainable world. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'el lahodot. Blessed are you, Eternal One. Your name is goodness, and we are grateful. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Ruth. Let's continue to explore our interconnectedness and shared purpose. We've gathered tonight for a big milestone celebration. Not only is this FAN's 10th anniversary, but it is also a celebration of our co-founder and co-director, Paul Benz. After 10 years of service to FAN and decades to Washington State, Paul is headed into a well-earned retirement. So tonight, we'll look back on all of our accomplishments before looking forward to the future of FAN. It is very cool that gathering virtually means we truly can bring our whole statewide network together, and nobody has to drive over the pass. Now that's broadband equity winning. With that said, we do want to shout out to over 30 watch party hosts who are hosting small gatherings in various parts of the state. If you're hosting a watch party, please take a picture of your group and post to Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter with the hashtag FanDinner2021. We want to see your gatherings all across the state, and thank you for bringing people together in support of FAN. We're looking forward to it being safe for us to gather in large groups again, hopefully very soon. If you saw the images of starlings on our event invitation and wondered, what does that have to do with FAN? Well, allow us a moment to explain our inspiration for this evening's event. To help illustrate our point, we'll share this video from our friends John and Teresa Kottkamp over on Lummi Island. Starlings move in murmurations. In response to just 7 starlings around them, thousands can swirl and dance in a unified movement. FAN is like that. We are a small groups of committed advocates, over 163 faith communities, moving together toward our common goal. Starlings can sometimes be considered disruptive, as can advocates. We rise, we circle, we dip, we soar in changing directions, but we hold together with the strength of our collective purpose and vision for the common good. We are so happy you joined us tonight to experience the synergy of a collective action as we celebrate our first 10 years and move forward with gratitude. Of course, we know this event is a fundraiser, and our support tonight will help launch FAN strongly into its next 10 years. Let's start by taking a look at our fundraising so far. You can make your gift anytime by clicking the link in the chat or by texting FAN Forward to 44321. Our goal is to raise 1/3 of our annual budget, $150,000 tonight. As you can see, we've already raised over $23,000 toward our goal. Thanks to early donations some of you already sent. Thanks so much for getting us started. We can also add over $21,000 in sponsorship support. All right, let's see that money. Let's raise that thermometer. All right, it got hotter. Let's take a look and see that fundraising. We're up to $45,000 now towards our $150,000 goal. We want to share our heartfelt thanks to our event sponsors who have given so generously. And you can see their names on your screens right now. Our matching sponsor, Rick Steves, and all of our sustainers throughout the year. Thank you for believing in FAN and the importance of our shared work. We thank faith communities, coalition partners, and individuals who are advocates for justice. Messengers of hope for us. And so many movement builders. And special thanks to our network of advocating faith communities and monthly donors who accompany us year-round. You can also see our full list of sponsors on our website at fanwa.org. Can we please give them some applause? And reactions in the chat, maybe a heart emoji, some thumbs up. Thank you. As has become a tradition at this event, our friend Rick Steves is here with us, and as usual, he is motivating us to be our best philanthropic selves in support of FAN. Here to tell you more is Rick Steves.
Steves, and I am so happy to be with you today, even if it's just virtually. You know, I've got sort of a tradition in my life. Every year I look forward to the fan banquet. I support FAN because FAN really gives my compassion, my Christian care, my interest in loving my neighbor traction. To me, FAN is not a charity, it's a service. It lets me be an effective Christian citizen of my state, my city, my country. Especially during this pandemic, I've become more mindful of the importance of community and the importance of us caring for each other and the importance of us having a good and smart and savvy voice in Olympia to make sure that our government policies mirror our values as people of faith. You know, in past fan banquets, we've had the hall just filled with people, Muslims, Jews, Christians, people of all different faiths, and we are together. We are just recognizing that we're all children of God, and that means we're all brothers and sisters. And if there is need, whether it's need across the sea or across the street, it needs to be dealt with. I love the effectiveness of FAN. Think of the triumphs when it comes to minimum wage, fair taxation, fighting racism, celebrating diversity, protecting our environment, working against structural poverty. This is all done because we are citizens. We're blessed to be citizens in a representative democracy. But if we don't have a voice in Olympia, our voice is not heard. Faith Action Network. Think of it. What a beautiful concept. We're motivated by our faith. We take action and we do it together in our community. That's what advocacy is. I just really appreciate advocacy. And for me to represent my values in Olympia, it is FAN, Faith Action Network. You know, this is the best way to leverage our charitable giving. And I'm so thankful to be here with you today to celebrate the work of FAN. In fact, I love to be able to support FAN with my financial help. And today, I want to give a challenge to all of you. I would like to help empower Faith Action Network's work with a gift of $50,000, but I don't want to do it alone. I'd like to inspire you collectively to give $50,000 also. Please, let's dig deep. Let's celebrate the work of FAN. Let's celebrate the love and the passion and the work that Paul has given FAN and given us over all of these years. Let's make this event a huge success. And if I can help that out with a gift of $50,000, I'm going to do that right now, but the ball's in your court. Let's make this a huge success. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Rick. Okay, FAN friends, you heard him. The ball is in your court. Again, you can make your gift anytime by clicking the link in the chat or by texting FAN forward to 44321. We're going to ask you to chat with us throughout this evening's program. If you need to create a quick free channel on YouTube so that you can participate, go ahead and do that now. Don't worry, channel is just what YouTube calls an account. So let's start chatting now. I want to know 3 things about you. Head to the chat now and let us know. 1, where in the state are you viewing the broadcast from? 2, what faith community or organization do you belong to? And 3, how long have you been involved with FAN? Go ahead and type your answers into the chat right now. And while you're doing that, I'll tell you my answers to those questions. Now, if I wasn't broadcasting live from South Seattle, I'd be watching this program in Tacoma or Gig Harbor, in the traditional lands of the Coast Salish people, specifically the Puyallup tribe of Indians. I do have an affinity for Pierce County, as my other hat is Port of Tacoma Commissioner and Northwest Seaport Alliance Managing Member, where we strive for economic and environmental justice. I've been with FAN for about a month and a half, and I'm so honored to join you in this mission in seeking unity and social justice in this time of division and transformation. What brought me to FAN was your great work in advocacy and your social impact in our communities across the state. Do you know the Maya Angelou quote, "You can't really know where you're going until you know where you have been"? As we contemplate our next 10 years in community with FAN, let's take a walk down memory lane to see how we got here. Roll that video.
Faith Action Network is an interfaith, statewide partnership through which thousands of individuals and over 162 faith communities across Washington state partner for the common good. Formed in June of 2011 in the merger of the Lutheran Public Policy Office and the Washington Association of Churches, our wise founders embarked on a new day with a pledge to build an interfaith movement for justice. You are FAN, and your tireless work for justice has been written on the pages of history as we celebrate 10 years today. You've marched with us in the streets and to the halls of power, from the $15 an hour win for all workers, justice for janitors and grocery workers, and safety and security for farm workers, to standing together against gun violence and climate catastrophe, to welcoming immigrants, refugees, and DACA recipients, to fighting against the Muslim ban and holding vigil when mosques and gurdwaras and synagogues have faced violence, to declaring that Black Lives Matter, not only in word, but with tangible legislative change, to honoring people who have died of homelessness by challenging policies that perpetuate poverty. We celebrate with you 10 years of statewide advocacy for public policy change, 10 years of interfaith advocacy days in Olympia, Spokane, and Yakima, 10 state legislative sessions with historic bills signed into law. Summits and cluster meetings where we've gathered to build community and strategize for our work. Candidate forums and interim meetings with elected officials. And warm memories of annual dinners past. Thank you for your commitment to one another and to our collective power as Faith Action Network.
Wow, what an amazing glimpse into all the work FAN has done. Thanks to our FAN team member, Tara Miller, for creating that retrospective for us. Of course, it's impossible to think of the last 10 years without thinking of our friend and colleague, Reverend Paul Benz. After 10 years of service as FAN's co-founder and co-director, Paul is moving on to his next chapter. Here are some colleagues and friends and supporters who have words of thanks and reflection for Paul.
Well, I am glad to join you celebrating Paul Benz's incredible career. You know, I know we have all been impressed with Paul for so many years. And you have to ask yourself, why is Paul so effective? And I think the reason is because every single time I have been in Paul's presence, I had the feeling that he had faith in me. And so in the Faith Action Network, which means you need action as well as faith, I've always felt Paul had faith in me, that I was going to be able to do something good for somebody. Somebody wasn't going to go hungry. They were going to have shelter. Paul had a great power. We thank him for it. It's meant so much in so many lives. Thank you, Paul. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Bishop Shelley Bryan Wee of the Northwest Washington Synod. I first met Paul years ago when I was a pastor in Spokane. We had a delightful conversation over coffee about the Lutheran Public Policy Office. At that meeting, he persuaded me to be part of the LPPO board for several years. But more importantly, he helped open my eyes to how the good news of Jesus is shared, not just on Sunday mornings, but in legislation designed to help the lost, the least, the broken, and those forgotten by much of society. I am honored to now be Paul's bishop and to house Faith Action Network on the territory of the Northwest Washington Synod. I am thankful for the many years that Paul has actively pursued his passion for compassionate justice and equity. Paul, we will miss you. Well done, good and faithful servant. May you have wonderful new adventures.
I am so grateful and offer a warm and hearty mazel tov, congratulations, and yasher koach. More power to you, Paul, for all the wonderful work that you've done for our community. For many years, you have been an incredible resource to me and to so many as we have pursued a need to address injustices in our wider region. And your political savvy and wisdom and really mentorship as an older clergy colleague has meant so much to me and to so many of us. I wish you all the best. When Moses gave Joshua the mantle of leadership, Moses said to Joshua, Chazak ve'amatz, may you be strong and courageous and resolute. And I think we do kind of a different version of that as you are moving on to a new act in your life. I wish you thoughtful, well-deserved consideration, reflection, and relaxation. And I hope we can always call upon you for your sage counsel as we have for these many years. Take care and congratulations.
Dear Brother Paul, thank you for your decade of service at FAN. One of my first memories with you was co-moderating the live on-air debates at MAPS in October 2016 for Secretary of State and Superintendent of Public Schools. Since then, from other election-related events and advocating for legislative priorities, to engaging in multi-faith solidarity, to standing up against hate and violence while promoting love, peace, religious freedom, racial justice, immigrant rights, economic equity, and so much more out on the streets and beyond, I have been honored to be in the struggle with you, living out our faith-inspired values while causing good trouble together as we've strived to bend the moral arc of the universe toward justice. Thank you for your advocacy, activism, allyship, and accomplishments. You should be proud of yourself, and may this new chapter of your life be full of blessings and rewards. You certainly deserve it.
Michael Ramos with the Church Council of Greater Seattle. Paul, you are a wonderful colleague and friend. On behalf of faith communities, you have led the way in advocacy and lobbying for a sufficient, sustainable livelihood for all people without exclusions. You've tirelessly brought a dimension of racial justice to Olympia. You have led us all on a way toward a more just society through legislation and policies that serve people over profits. You've led the way as a minister of the gospel, a person of deep faith, a great mentor to me and so many others. Your decades of work on behalf of all of us is something that we want to honor and remember always. I'm grateful to you, Paul, for your friendship and leadership.
Hello, my name is Cecile Hansen. I am the chair of the Duwamish tribe, the indigenous people of Seattle. Paul Benz is an awesome man, and I feel honored that we are friends. I appreciate Paul sitting on our Duwamish Tribal Services Board and being very supportive of the Duwamish tribe. But I was saddened that he left, but I know that he was busy with his fan associate. And I admire his dedication to the unfortunate and the dedication that has been long of his work. And I hope that we will stay in contact, because he has been an honored friend of the Duwamish tribe. And so I know that he'll keep busy too. Thank you, Paul.
I'm Walter Kendricks. I have the extreme honor of being pastor of the Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church of Spokane, Washington. Hi, Paul. We love you so much. We think the world of you. I think so much of you that I've allowed you to speak in the pulpit where God anointed me, and you've done a marvelous job. My favorite memory of you is just watching you speak to the people here in Spokane through the Morning Star pulpit. I am so happy that you've made it to retirement. I am sad to see you go, but I am happy that you will be able to enjoy your life and do whatever it is you want to do. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you. In other words, may you see the face of God, which I believe you already have, and I can prove that by your efforts, and give you peace. Much love to you. God bless you.
Born in rural northwestern Iowa, this Minnesota farm boy, the Reverend Paul Burton Benz, is a pastor and a lobbyist. He has been called a hero, conscience of the Washington State Legislature, a Yankee fan, an advocate for the oppressed, and a great many things more. And to spend even 1 second to show each of his many plaques and awards from local community organizations, we'd far exceed our limited time to name what he is to us, his family, before, beneath, above, within, and beyond all of those things.
He is a husband,
A son, a brother, uncle, and a cousin.
And a grandfather.
And a father.
Dad, for so many, you are a friend, colleague, social justice advocate, pastor, and our hometown hero. But to me, you are first and foremost my daddy. A dad who would play sleeping grump, tickle us until there was no end, build forts, and introduce us to the outdoors. Take care of us when we were crying babies also, I'm sure. You took many weekends to drive hours so we could ski, sled, and do many other adventures. You gave us opportunities and encouragement to follow our dreams. You instilled so much love, determination, and probably even some stubbornness in us. You taught us to stand up for the voiceless and what we believe in. Most of all, you taught us how to love, and how loving our neighbors, as Jesus taught us, often means action. You taught us that love doesn't exclude, discriminate, or judge. Thank you for all that you have done, Dad. Thank you for all that you have taught me. Thank you for showing me how to love. And thank you for being the best dad anyone could ever have.
He was our first coach and our first teacher, along with his wife. History was a subject in our home which was not separable from justice. And our breakfast tables, bedtime stories, calendars, t-shirts, and daily conversations, when they weren't about family or a Bible study, they told the stories of Ella Baker, Cesar Chavez, Malcolm X, Geronimo, Crazy Horse, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, Harvey Milk, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and Stephen Biko, among others. the work of justice that labors to restore and repair dignity and respect to those most maligned. That work that we honor him with is not just what he did for a living. It is who he is. It's his dash, that simple mark between two dates that refers to a person's life. And just as he shared it with you, and just as we shared him with you, he shared and shaped us with his own dash. For his is a way of living and loving. So thank you, Dad. And in the spirit of Steve Biko and Sweet Honey in the Rock, we have just a little verse for you here tonight. And we look forward to the future verses of your own writing and our singing together, because there is more love.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
Love you, Dad.
Love you, Dad.
We love you.
Love you.
How moving to see the many facets of Paul's life. It's so inspiring to see the breadth and depth of the community Paul has helped forge here at FAN. I see many of you at the live chat right now, speaking great words about Paul. If you would also like to be part of this Paul Love Fest, you could click the link we're dropping in the chat right now. This is a kudo board where you can share your favorite memories, your thoughts on his impacts, and your well wishes with Paul. We'll be giving Paul access to this kudo board following tonight's program. And as cool as that kudo board truly is, we wanted to make sure to surprise Paul with something else really special. But in order to surprise him, we had to pull a little bait and switch maneuver. You'll see what I mean. Roll that video.
Okay.
But you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1.
Well, it's been a great ride these last 10 years with Faith Action Network, helping create it.
Hi, everybody. There's a brief interruption here. Paul has been thinking we are about to film him sharing some remarks with you for the event this evening. But we have a little surprise first. I am Carol Jensen. I am co-chair of the FAN board, and I am here with Paul in the flesh to say thank you to him because you cannot be in the flesh present at this event. So Paul, I am representing 162 advocating faith communities and many other congregations that you have worked with over the years, a network of over 7,000 individuals, dozens of partner organizations that have been so important to FAN and your work, faith leaders from around the state, the FAN governing board, committees, working groups, staff, past and present, many elected officials who have listened to you and have been inspired by your commitment to the common good. And perhaps most importantly, the thousands of people whose lives have been changed for the better because of bills your advocacy has helped push over the line. So we thank you for your vision that helped give birth to FAN over 10 years ago from its parents, the Lutheran Public Policy Office, which you also served as leader of for 10 years, and the Washington Association of Churches. We thank you for your tireless advocacy for the revenue and the programs that help those most in need in our state. Your advocacy to promote equity, human rights, reform of our justice system, equitable, sustainable practices for our environment. We thank you for bearing witness to the values that are deeply held by our diverse faith traditions, for the relationships you forged with people that you didn't always agree with, and perhaps above all for your persistence, because you understood that the journey toward justice is a long road and there are bumps along the way. So we had hoped that we might get Sweet Honey in the Rock to sing a song for you at this event, but in lieu of that, we want to share a line that you know well from Ella's song that I think speaks to the person that you are. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. So Paul, as your time as co-director of FAN ends at the end of December, we hope you will get a little rest, well, at least after the legislative session. But we know that you will continue to fan the flames for justice as long as you have breath. So, as a token of our appreciation, behind the pillow, we want to present you with the Justice Leadership and Legacy Awards. You can take it out.
All right.
It is a small thing. It is a small thing, but it represents the deep regard that we have for you and for your work to put our faith into action. Thank you. And Paul, there will be a chance for you to film your remarks.
Well, thank you, Carol. Thank you.
Well, what a great surprise. The look on Paul's face when Carol first walked in was priceless. Thanks for being such a good sport, Paul. Of course, now that everybody else has had their chance to talk all about Paul, it's his turn to speak for himself. Paul, take it away.
Well, it's been a great ride these last 10 years with Faith Action Network, helping create it with a vision to work across our traditional religious boundaries, with the targeted purpose being social change in the halls of power by engaging and partnering with people of faith and with people who don't identify with any religious organization. One always should know that you don't do anything in life, especially the work of social change, by oneself. So I want to thank several individuals and groups. I want to thank the great staff that I've had the privilege of working with. Too many now to name, which is great, but best of everything to Kristen as she continues now as the Director of Policy Engagement, and to Elise as she leads FAN into the next 10 years. Thanks to the FAN board for their leadership and support, and its leader, Carol Jensen. And special thanks to my family who's gathered with me here in our own watch party, to putting up with my thousands of meetings, literally, these last 10 years, to the many travels to Olympia, overnights there and all around the state, to the many kick-ass organizations that I've worked with day in and day out these last 10 years at FAN, and all the wonderful special treasures, seriously, that are in these organizations from top to bottom. I want to thank you for your amazing work. Keep it up and know that I will keep working with you. And last but not least, to each and every one of you that have taken time to be with us tonight, and for those that weren't able to make it, for consistently stepping up, using your time, your money, your voice to speak truth to power from the halls of Olympia to the other Washington, and never giving up when the odds always seem against us to make the changes that we want to see. To conclude, I want to say that as my work at FAN comes to an end on December 31st, 2021, January 1st, 2022 is a new day and a new year. And know that my hands will still be working with all of you to continue to bend that moral arc of history towards more justice, more racial equity, and toward a world that we can all feel good about passing on to not just the next generation, but to the 7th generation.
Thank you, Paul, for all you have done for FAN. Let's honor Paul by sending our co-director Elise and the FAN staff into the next 10 years with our strong support. Rick Steves is back to say more about this.
Paul hooked me on the beauty of supporting and empowering Faith Action Network, of the importance of advocacy. And today we're showing our gratitude and we're giving gifts to honor Paul's work and to make sure Elise and the staff at FAN going forward will be able to not miss a beat, because the responsibilities and the opportunities of our work through FAN continue. You know, it's a blessing to be able to give our love traction through the work of FAN and its staff. And Paul has dedicated his career to helping our government mirror my Christian values. And for that, I am so thankful. For me, it's an opportunity to give. It's part of the celebration. It's a blessing. And I'm a blessed person to be able to come up with this money, because I'm lucky to found my niche and have a travel business and make some money. And I just am so thankful to be able to invest $50,000 tonight in FAN and challenge you to dig deep and match me collectively. And what a wonderful send-off we can give Paul. And what a wonderful note of encouragement we can give Elise and the rest of the staff at Faith Action Network to go forward with Paul's work. Paul, thank you so much. All of you who are watching right now, we are coming together to send you off with a great thank you. And I know the best way to thank you is to empower Faith Action Network going forward to do your work as we continue the mission of Faith Action Network. Thanks so much and happy travels.
Thank you, Rick. Let's take a quick look at our fundraising progress to see how we're doing. Great, we've raised over $49,000 toward our $150,000 goal. I see that some of you have already made gifts during the program. That's wonderful. Thank you to Alice McCain, to Torquay Berg, Kent Sullivan. Thank you to Matt Berry. Thank you so much. Remember, you are empowered to make your gifts at any time by simply clicking the link in the chat or texting FAN forward to 44321. Ever since our spring appeal, people have been making gifts in honor of Paul, and we want to acknowledge and thank you here. You are the wind beneath our wings. Thank you for your gifts of love. now let's add those gifts in honor of Paul to the thermometer. With every dollar, you help FAN take flight and soar to new heights of advocacy and social impact. So thank you so much. Yes, you brought up the amount to $54,000 toward our $150,000 goal. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who has been part of FAN's history. Now we turn our eyes toward the future. I am so excited to build and work in concert with all of you. The richness of this community, our geographical diversity, the diversity of faiths, the power of this statewide network of leaders, activists, and agitators, it's really motivating. We are clear on our values and mission and set up for success to soar together into the future. Here to tell us about our current successes and vision for the future is the staff of Faith Action Network, starting with our co-director, Elise DeGoyer. Elise, please join me up on stage.
Thank you, Kristen. It's so great having you working with us at FAN. Our hearts are very full tonight. We have celebrated so much already and are definitely moving forward with gratitude. We know we stand on a strong foundation because of our founding staff and board members and our current ones. And because of you. FAN is not one person, not one location, not one issue or strategy. FAN is a whole lot of us, fired up to take action to change the injustices around us. Working in our local settings, meeting each other across our regions or the state, or lately across a lot of Zoom screens. FAN is people power. We are recommitting ourselves tonight to continue to move forward the same mission and vision that has steered FAN these first 10 years. A multi-faith statewide partnership striving for a just, compassionate, and sustainable world. Our legislative agenda is still being finalized, but will include policy areas you recognize: social and economic justice, racial equity, housing and healthcare, immigration reform, and environmental justice. And as always, we'll remain ready to respond to emerging needs, like when egregious court decisions happen or faith communities are threatened, as they have been in Tacoma recently. And you may see some new approaches as we seek to engage our whole network. We want to share just a few of our guiding values and commitments with you as we move forward with gratitude. So first, here's FAN board member Jim Castro-Lang coming to us live from Spokane from his watch party, followed by FAN's wonderful staff.
The work of the Faith Action Network in Washington State. We are not a Seattle or Olympia-based organization, despite our strong presence in both places. Maybe we used to be, but no longer. Our power base is our 163 advocating faith communities across the state, along with you who support FAN and advocate on our behalf. My watch party here is at the Westminster United Church of Christ in downtown Spokane, one of our newest advocating faith communities in Spokane. And this broad, deep base enables FAN to effectively push so many policies of compassion and justice at decision-making tables and in the halls of power. We have staff on the ground in Spokane and Lauren Schubring. I love our regional organizers and hope with your help we can have more. They add capacity and credibility to our work in local communities. You will hear from Lauren in a minute. Last year, in the midst of this pandemic, our trusted public health officer was unjustly fired. FAN was at the table in Spokane, crafting ways to protect and strengthen our public health infrastructure. It resulted in historic legislation that doubled public health funding and reformed local public health boards to reduce elected officials' control of these boards and adding those with public health experience and expertise. From my watch party here in Spokane, I send it now to the FAN staff who will continue sharing some of our guiding values.
FAN seeks to build for the common good so that all may thrive. As a ministry intern, I think a lot about how my Disciples of Christ tradition speaks of building a movement for wholeness in our fragmented world. FAN embodies this kind of movement by working for systemic change and building partnerships for a more hospitable, kinder, more just and sustainable world for the common good.
Faith Action Network continues its work on a multi-faith basis, working through many denominations and many faiths. We continue our pursuit to work towards justice for all. During this time of year, we remember Guru Har Gobind Ji being released from Gwalior Fort. During his release, he refused to leave without the release of 52 other political prisoners who were kept for the sake of creating division amongst the people. During this time of year, Sikhs gather across the world to remember the fight against ignorance and injustice through the lighting of lamps and creating light in the darkness. Faith Action Network continues to light its own beacon of hope through its work in creating warmth and light for all to travel on the path towards peace.
One value that quietly guides our work here is curiosity. To learn about other faith traditions, to seek solutions to social problems by asking hard questions is at the core of how I want to move forward here in Eastern Washington. This artwork behind me was created by a middle school student who won the Faith Leaders and Leaders of Conscience art contest in Spokane this past year. She depicted how inclusive we become when we are curious about one another. We move forward with curiosity.
Everything we do, every policy issue we work on, has implications for racial equity in our communities. In this time, like many others before, when there is no excuse for being ignorant of the injustices forced on Black and Indigenous people and communities of color, we move forward with urgency, knowing that we have much work to do, that our predominantly white and Christian faith communities have work to do, that dialogue and education must turn to action to account for the truth of our histories, to topple abusive systems, and repair broken relationships.
We know we all need one another. Like the murmurations of starlings pictured on our invitation and swirling through our program tonight, FAN moves together for mutual support and liberation. With over 162 faith communities now pledged to partner with FAN, as well as thousands of individuals, we are, as our tagline reads, truly a partnership for the common good. We build community through tangible actions we take in partnership together.
At the heart of our work is advocacy, using our voices and collective power to speak up for justice, to lift our voices with others in our communities who are impacted by public policy, to make sure our elected officials know the kind of social change we want to see, to lift our faith values of compassion and love into the public discourse. You can count on us to move these values. Likewise, we know we can count on you. If you haven't already, now is the time to click that link in the chat or text FAN forward to 44321. I want to thank some of you that have already felt moved to give. Thank you to Catherine, thank you to Sandra, to Hira, thank you Judy, thank you Joan, thank you so much, and thank you to the Anonymous. Remember, our goal is to raise 1/3 of FAN's annual budget together this evening. And of course, our friend Rick Steves is supporting all of us in achieving that goal by matching your donations, dollar for dollar, up to $50,000. Let's hear from Rick one more time so he can get us pumped to take FAN across the fundraising finish line. Rick, the stage is yours, friend.
You know, I've spent a third of my adult life, 3 or 4 months a year, living overseas out of a 9 by 22 by 14-inch carry-on the airplane size suitcase. And when I return home, I am so thankful to be able to live in a community that we live in right here in Washington State. You know, we are richly blessed to live in the United States, and we are super richly blessed to live here in Washington State with our nature, with the affluence we have here, the stability, the democracy, the sense of community. And it doesn't just happen. It happens because citizens like you and me who care, get involved. It's a matter of stewardship, frankly. And I just feel like the caliber of a community that we live in is really measured by the care it gives to its children, its seniors, its environment, and the next generation. And that's FAN's values. Faith Action Network represents our values. We need to send Paul Benz off with a feeling that he has really created something that has a heritage, that has a keel, and it has a wonderful staff, and it has an enthusiastic collective following and a support base in all of us. Today, we are reiterating our support. We are recommitting ourselves to Faith Action Network. That's why I'm digging deep. That's why I'm giving $50,000 to Faith Action Network tonight. And I'm challenging all of you collectively to dig deep, do what you can, whatever figure you can come up with. There's no wrong answer, but we need to all be on board to the best of our ability. And if you respond together, we're taking our values as people of faith, as a family of people of faith to Olympia. And we are doing that by empowering the work of Faith Action Network. Boy, there are a lot of prayers going up right now across our land, and prayers are answered by the work that Faith Action Network does. Together, collectively, with the success of tonight's event, we are answering prayers. We are doing God's work. We are loving our neighbors. Thank you so much for being the foundation of Faith Action Network, an organization that we are all so thankful for.
Thank you, Rick. Donating is so easy. Simply click the link in the chat or text FAN forward to 44321. Let's look at our fundraising progress. I see we are up to $56,000 toward our $150,000 goal. I see your gifts coming in. Thank you to Donna. Thank you to another Donna, Donna Carey, Donna Christensen. Thank you to Kara. Thank you to Marike. Gifts in all amounts. Every gift, just like every voice and every activist action, help us move together toward our common goal. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to Ming. Thank you. The time for giving is not over. You can still make your gifts by clicking the link in the chat or by texting FAN forward to 44321. By the way, if you prefer to write and mail in a check for your donation, that's great. We're putting our mailing address into the chat right now. But now we want to express our gratitude for you for taking this journey with us over the course of the last 10 years, tonight, and well into the future. Thanks to all of our event speakers. We appreciate you sending in your videos or taking the time with us to film you. Thanks to Synchronicity Events for being our partner in producing this event, and to Live Oak AV for running the tech elements for us. And of course, thanks to Rick Steves for supporting us with that generous match. Speaking of which, let's add in those matching funds now. Well, let's take a look where that put us. Well, look at that. Tonight, we have raised over $109,000 together. Amazing. Thank you so much. You will get many opportunities to lift your own advocacy voice in the year ahead. Make sure you have the dates saved for the Eastern Washington Legislative Conference, January 22, and Interfaith Advocacy Day, February 10th. Of course, our biggest thanks goes to you. Thank you for being our stars and starlings. I look forward to continue to rise, circle, dip, soar with all of you as we work together for the common good. My name is Kristen Eng, and it has been my pleasure to serve as your MC this evening. Stay safe so we can gather next year in person. Have a great night. Thank you so much.